Next up, we have Terri Rickel from UNL User Services, and she will be talking to us about creating workflows and projects with Web 2.0 tools. Now I'll hand it over to you.
Sorry, jumping the gun, I guess. Okay, I work for User Services at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and basically that means I work with interlibrary loan and circulation. And so how I kind of got interested in doing these online presentations was I'm in a master's program at UNL as well in education, and I was introduced to these tools and many others from a professor there who is in with education and in the classroom. So that's how I kind of got started. And recently we had a training day at work, and so I wanted to create something, a workflow, in order to help my coworkers understand more about how the processes work, etc. And so I came up with this idea of using, in the beginning, Popplet. So as it says on the screen, Prezi and Popplet are online tools that can actually be used to collaborate. Not only is it good for creating workflows and projects, but I saw that there were quite a few teachers out there, teacher librarians, that could find these tools very easy to use in the classroom as well. Okay, so kind of like some of the benefits of Popplet, and this is popplet.com. Each little Popplet, you can add text, you can draw, you can, one of the cool features is you can import images, videos, you can select pictures from Flickr, you can do YouTube videos. You can also import directly from your computer. If you happen to have a video from there, you can import that in. Also, it has export capabilities, so if you want to save the JPEG or the PDF file, you can. There's little frames that are the Popplets, and you can change the color frames. And as I said before, you can invite others to collaborate on this. And you can find ways, and you can present it online, you can present it remotely, you can send a link so that other people can view it. As you can see over on the right side of my image, you have various different ways that you can share this online tool. You can share the website through Facebook, Twitter. You can embed this, and I'll show you a place that I embedded this particular Popplet. You can share the permalink. You can add collaborators. Right now it just shows my name, but in a little bit I'll show you how to add collaborators. I threw in here a couple of examples of some of the Popplets that other people had made just to kind of give you an idea. And for some reason it's doing weird things to my application here. Okay. So Popplets are little tiny boxes, essentially. And as you can see, this is somebody else named Maria that created these particular Popplet and display. And hers actually has links included in it. Another one, some of the teachers might like this one. Somebody had created one on digital citizenship. As you can tell, as I mentioned before, there's different colored frames, and it says who the collaborators are up here in the top. So you see various different, most likely students, created, work together on this project. So Stanley, Josephine, Asmary. So those are some examples. Now this particular one is my presentation that I did. As you can notice, there's kind of a little Popplet over here on its own that says Holly. I actually invited Holly to present with me. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. Okay. So you see my screen here. Here's my workflow. Here's that information that I showed you before. Right now, here's my name, and I've shared with Holly. If I want to add a collaborator, I just click here. Now the nice feature about this is if you know the person already has been creating Popplets, you should be able to find them. So if I start typing Holly's name correctly, it'll pop up with her information. So I can go ahead and select her and then add them. And it's going to go ahead and send a message saying that I invited her to collaborate. And then what she does is she'll get a little invite thing and she'll log into it, and it'll give her 3 options. It'll say either yes, I want to collaborate, no, I don't want to collaborate, or let me have a look at that presentation and see if I'm interested in collaborating on it. Okay. Again, here's a way to embed. So here's the embed code. You can copy and paste the link. You can post it on Facebook and Twitter, or email it to friends. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer so you can see. Right now, most of these boxes are all mine. But I wanted to create kind of an interesting workflow where I use different color boxes for different things. So these blue boxes say how we get in requests. This middle box is for those out there who are familiar with Iliad. This is where the request queue is, where the different requests go. This one is separate because it's I have to do something manually to it. And all the black boxes here I created because they're end results. So you can do as much as you want with those. You can change sizing. If you click and drag, you can change the size of it. If you click this button here, this is going to change the color of your box. I'm going to change it back to black for now. This will be text size, so how big you want your text or font, and then where you want the information positioned, either if it's on, left side, right side, or in the middle. I mentioned about drawing, so you can go ahead and choose whichever color you want, and go ahead and love my nice little drawing here. I'm not going to keep that though. And then here's where I was talking about before about how you can add an image. Here's where you can add from Flickr, from, I've never used Vimeo, but you can add that in there, YouTube, and here's from my computer. So if you click on that, then you'll get a box that pops up that says, okay, where do you want to find that particular item? And you can import it from there. Okay. Now, one of the other things is you can draw lines and connect. So if I have this box and I want to connect this item to this up here, I just click and drag and let go, and then it's going to draw a line. If I click here, this is going to be my settings. I can save my Popplet. I can undo whatever the last thing I did was. There's ways to organize. I haven't messed around too much with these, but there's other options for people that are a little more advanced with that. Here's adding content, Flickr, YouTube, Google Maps, how you want to present. One of the things that, depending on what you want to do, you can work on this project together and you can decide that you want to hide the name tags. So if Holly and I decided to present something together, we can hide those tags. And here's where I mentioned before about how we can export as a PDF. Pretty basic. If you just click on it, it's going to ask you where you want to save it. So I can choose and just save it there. And you can also do the same with a JPEG. Okay. Print the file. Okay. So those are some of the basics. You can click and move the box around as well, readjust it. Okay. So I mentioned that. And here I put in the slides the example of my Popplet, and down at the bottom is the link to my Popplet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to Prezi. One of the things that you may have noticed, Karen, who presented first, she actually used a Prezi presentation instead of a PowerPoint. And so she already gave you an example of that. But one of the things that's unique about this particular way of presenting is that it's a zooming software. You can have it set up so that it goes on a timer and then it switches to your next slide every like 4 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. So you can let it go as you talk about it. It's got frames and arrows to help you create the workflow a little better. Your frames could be like circles, they could be brackets, and then arrows kind of pointing to different places. There's different themes that you can pick from if you don't want to just jump right in and create from scratch. Then you can pick a theme and choose something that's already set up and then modify that one. Again, you can collaborate on this with people all over the world, and you can actually, just like we're doing now with these webinars, that you can actually turn over the presentation rights to somebody else who can present their particular part of it. Again, you can insert images, symbols, videos, as the image shows down in the bottom left-hand corner, diagrams, again, YouTube. You can have background music. I have to admit I haven't done much with that, but I've played with other things about it. PowerPoint, share and present remotely, and then also allow others to present as well. These are kind of like the initial slides that they show you in the beginning. So again, co-edit and present in real time. You can invite other people to present, as you can tell. Broadcast presentations online. Andrea, in this case, is the one that's presenting, and there's 2 other people, so they can switch between themselves for presenting. And then you can share it on Facebook. You can give the online presentation. You can download again as a PDF, just like you can with Popplet. I'm going to go ahead and click on this creative idea to give you an idea. One of the things that I just discovered myself is they have these pre-zip templates. And if you were to look at this particular one, and down here at the bottom, this is where you can decide, there's the left and the right arrows, and then here's timer. You can decide whether you want it to automatically go every 4 seconds and switch slides, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, or leave it off and just click through it. So this is a little more creative because things appear as you click. Whereas most of the Prezis that you're going to find are actually, all the information is there, you just click through it. Okay. So here's the one that I created. Again, it's my workflow for ILO lending. And here's the link. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and present this just so you can get a feel of what mine looks like. Okay, I can choose, like I said before, I can choose that it automatically goes autoplay for 4 seconds. So as I'm presenting and talking, it's going to automatically go through. As you can tell, it zoomed in to the next one on my path and then zoomed in further. And so you can decide how you want to create this. Before, when I first created it, I had the circles in the center smaller, so it was more of a, the one part that some people complain about is the kind of like the motion sickness. So you have to be careful that when you're doing your presentation that you don't make things too spread out or too small, because as it goes through and kind of zooms through, it's going to create problems, and some people may not even want to view it due to that. So as you can see, it's just kind of going through the various slides, but in a different way. You can add, like I said, the images. I added the smiley face, the little bike, just to have fun with it. And then if I decide, okay, that's not going fast enough, I can take back over and I can click through, or if I want to take more time, I can click through on my own manually. Okay. And that was my end slide there. Okay, so I'm currently in edit mode. You can see right here as a number 18, that's the 18th slide. If you look over on the left side, you'll see edit path. This is showing you the path of the slides. Yep, it's being ornery. Okay, so my first one is that middle one, and then you can see that right here is 2, and then it zooms into 3. Again, like I said before, you want to be careful about the size of your circles or brackets or whatever, so that if you make it really, really small, it'll zoom into it and make it the size that you want it, but it's going to be a little bit more jumpy and cause a few problems. You want to be careful of that. If I wanted to add text anywhere, you get this box that pops up that says title, subtitle, and body. So it depends on, this one over here would be title, these would be subtitles. You can choose the color of text here, the size of the font, make it bold, italics, bullet points, how you want it lined up in your text box. Let's say I want to modify this one. I can zoom to frame, and then I can modify it individually. If I decide that something's out of order, I can edit my path and I can move the files, and then it's going to go from this one to this one first and then to that one. And it's kind of showing you here how the thing runs, how it happens. And if I'm done, I click Edit Path again. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit here. So let's say I want to add something here. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Frames and Arrows. I can draw brackets, a circle, rectangle, invisible frame. So if I don't want it framed, this is where you can draw arrows and lines. So then I can go ahead and make my box, and then it's going to throw it in placement. So it's going to go 10, 11, 12, 13. And if I double click on it, it's going to zoom in, and this is where I can add so I'm just going to put in renewal requests just for simplicity's sake, and leave it as body. And then if I present it, it would go from this one to this one to this one. And here's where I can insert those images, YouTube video. You can add the link from the actual video itself. So you can click and drag around. Here's where I was mentioning about the themes. You can just choose a different theme here or customize the current theme. And then when you're done, you can go ahead and present remotely. You can share the Prezi. If you click share, then it's going to give you a link that you can provide to other people, or you can invite people. Here's where you can invite people to actually edit your Prezi. So if I decided to invite Holly, I can go ahead and add, and then she will get an email saying that I have invited her to participate with me and co-edit the software. Okay. And then when I'm done, I can go ahead and exit. So I'm exited from the edit. I can present remotely, like I said before, download it. I can save a copy. That's share again. I can find the embed code. And as I mentioned before, here's actually the user services LibGuide. And within here, I added both the life of a lending request. So they can view it in here, they can zoom in, or they can pop it out by clicking on this. And then here's the Prezi. One of the things I wanted to warn you about Popplet is generally you're limited to 5 Popplets for public. I haven't explored education-wise, but 5 Popplets is kind of your limit, and then you can buy more. I think it's like $3 a month or $30 for a year, and that's unlimited Popplets if you decide to go that route. Okay, and that's basically it.
Okay, thank you, Terri. Sorry, we're a little distracted over here. That's great. Does anybody have any questions or comments or thoughts on Terri's presentation? You can type them into the questions section of your GoToWebinar interface, or if you have a microphone, say, unmute me. Well, type unmute me. And then I can unmute you and you can ask your question that way. Does anybody here have any questions or thoughts? We were talking about the Popplet thing when you were going through that part in the beginning of the session that seemed very useful, definitely.
Yeah.
What was Becky saying? Workflows. She can definitely see a use for that. She
flow charts.
Flow charts, yeah.
And the fact that it can be collaborative, I think, is a definite plus.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I can really see both of these working well in the classroom for those who are teachers because, you know, you can kind of keep track of what students are working on together and what their part is because they have to log in, and so it kind of shows what their input is. But one of the things that I do like about this is because we're trying to work towards getting rid of paper manuals and paper flowcharts and finding folders and space to have that, and it's like, why not throw it online?
You could do a whole syllabus using this, like an interactive syllabus for a class. I would love to have had that when I was taking classes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's plenty of other tools that do about the same thing out there. But these two I've been playing around with and I'm using for work, so.
All right, well, no urgent questions came in while we were chatting, so I think we'll wrap it up. Thank you very much, Terri.
All right, thank you.